Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, today I am working on projects that when you are your own general contractor that you don't think about. But then remember, oh, I got to get that done, and there's nobody else to do them but yourself. Well, the first task at hand today is to get this shower screwed off, which they framed the bathroom in, and then the shower was set after the fact, so there's not a wall, or there wasn't a wall here on the end of the shower. So that's one project that, you know, you're gonna call your framer to come back to build a little, you know, three and a half foot wall. Well, probably not the case, so you end up getting to do it. So another thing that I'm doing here is I always like to shim out around my tub showers because you've got this flange on it. So if we look down this 2x4, if we run our sheetrock out here, it's going to be coming out to get up over the lip of the shower. So I always like to shim them out, so I'll have to add something here to pull it out to where that sheetrock can run flush down the wall and not be bowed out down at your tub. So in this case, I'm going to be adding, this is my daughter's bathroom, so I'm going to add her some storage on the back side. So that's the reason I've turned these 2x4s around. But I notched all of these 2x4s, and then I notched this one to receive that flange. That way, when you're here and looking at it, sheetrock will go straight back against the tub and we're not going to be kicked out. That way we got a true corner here and it won't be bowed out on us. So I notched these up top. I was able to notch them out of the post, or the 2x4s here, but in the back what I'll do is I'll cut me some shims, and then we'll attach to our 2x4s, which will bring us out to allow that sheetrock to come flush down to the tub versus being bowed out down here at the bottom. So let's shim our 2x4s, and then we're gonna come up with some kind of little storage idea here for my daughter, make her a place to put her junk. Well, the light in here is not great, and it's sort of hard for me to video when I'm in this little hole. But I got a little small knee wall framed up here. We'll take some shelving material and lay on this, and then I'll let them sheetrock it all. And then I added some extra blocking in here so I can come in here and add her some shelves. And she ought to have plenty of storage space there, and what would have been just wasted space. I don't know, it may be hard for you to see, but this shower has got this lip, the nailing flange essentially that goes around it, but that holds out probably an 8 3/16. So what I'm doing is taking a 1/4 inch strip, and I'll come in here and add that to my 2x4, so when my sheetrock comes in, it can run straight down over that flange and my sheetrock's not bowed out at the bottom. I'll screw the rest of them off. We'll have this shower done. Now, for anybody who's wondering on how you transition into a straight wall when you're shimming out around the top and around the edges of the tub or the shower, is I came here and added a nailer on the side of my 2x4, so I'm shimmed here. So I brought my nailer out flush with that. That way I clear this flange, and then this is basically a 1/4 inch shim. So then I come to the next 2x4 and I go to an 1/8 and then back to nothing. So I'm basically going from this stud out to the tub. I'm growing a 1/4 inch, and it's just a gradual gain to clear over that flange. And when you stand back and look at that, a 1/4 over basically 2 studs, you'll never see the wall move out. And then it gives you a gradual turn down here at your baseboard. You never know it. Now, if you've been following along, you know when I set my tubs in here, I thought I was going to get away with putting just fiberglass tub showers in. And so I said, I'm getting off cheaper. It'll be a lot easier and won't have to worry about it. But we put in the master bathroom, was going to put just a standard 60-inch stand-up shower in there. But once we got inside it and got it in here, you know, inside the house, and we both got in it and stood in it, and I even had the plumber get in it. And I said, get in that shower there, you know, and see what you think. And he got in it, and he said, I'd take this thing out of here and get me something wider. And so that was the consensus. So Travis didn't get off as cheap and easy as he thought he was. We kept the one tile shower, or the fiberglass shower, over my daughter's bathroom, and then the tub shower in the boys' bathroom. But I ended up going with a fiberglass base, and I'll end up having to do a tile shower here just to get more room. Like I said before, we plan on staying here a while, so I didn't want a shower in there that, you know, wasn't big enough to whoop a cat in. So anyway, we are going to put a tile, or a fiberglass shower base, and then we'll tile around it. But if you've ever set one of these fiberglass bases on concrete, they can be a pain in the butt. Now, I think this makes my third fiberglass base that I've put on a concrete slab. And what I've found is getting them to lay down in there and set true becomes difficult, because for one, when you pour your slab, you've got to come in here and form up for where your drain comes up. And anytime, you know, you've got to work your way around this, there's always going to be an element of, hey, you got a little place here that's, you know, an 1/8 inch high, and to get it perfectly flat from the surface that it's going to lay just becomes difficult. So in this case, I've already done some prep work here to get it leveled up, but it was off. There's a little ridge right here in the center, and the base would just sit here and rock. So that when you look at the shower base, they've got 6 feet on this base. And what they say is they want you to take mortar and basically indicate where they're at on the floor, where they'll hit, and take mortar, pile it up, and then you set the shower base down on top of it, and then you can level it, plumb it, and then you've got it sitting on a solid base. But in this case, when I set it down in here, I don't have a basement or a crawl space below to where I could come in here and work to tie my drain in. So I had a 36-inch wide shower, but this is a 42-inch base. So luckily, you know, I had enough room here to where I could move it around. So I've already got it cut off, but I'm gonna have to move it over to here. So when I set this base, I've got to make sure I've got it level, and then I've got to glue this all at the same time when I put it in there. So the option for me to set it in mortar, set it down in here and glue it in place is not going to work, because as soon as that glue sets, if I've not got it settled in this mortar and got it leveled up, Travis has got a mess on his hands. Now, next up, I've got to get my drain moved over, and then we'll be ready to try to set this thing down in there. And I'll show you something that I use under fiberglass tubs, showers, whatever it may be. Got something I put down under these that ensures you get a good solid bottom underneath these things, so you don't get any cracking down the road. Went ahead and got my plumbing put in. I filled this back up with rock and compacted that. Then I've got basically a little 4-inch piece of pipe around where my drain goes in. That way I can hold those rock off of it, and I want to bring these back up as close to the top as I can. You get in here standing on your drain, and basically you got a 12 by 12 or 12 by 13 hole there that's putting all your weight on, and then you're, you know, adding that extra weight to your drain pipe as well. So what I'm going to use under this shower pan is Great Stuff window and door. So basically what I do with this stuff is, especially with concrete and you get, you know, irregular surface, is I'm going to work this under. I've drawn an outline of where my shower pan's going to sit. What I'll do is I'll work this and basically create me a pattern all the way under this shower pan, and then I'll come in here in the gravel and I'll build it up in here to where once I get this pan set in there, this stuff will expand, and it's basically going to come up and meet the bottom of that shower pan. Now this one's built a little bit different. It's got these feet, so you've got some flat surfaces. Now some of them have got sort of ribs running through them. But in this case, probably not going to go as heavy in here because it's going to start getting back down to the concrete level. But this stuff can work its way and push its way around underneath it. The only thing you got to do is I'll usually have plenty of weight. I've got a generator sitting here and a couple 50-pound bags of seed and corn and then a tank of fuel. So I'll lay that weight in here. That way this stuff can move its way around path of least resistance. Won't raise my tub up. But yet when it sets, I'll have a solid base underneath this shower pan, and when you step on it, you won't feel no rocking and you won't feel any fiberglass giving. Well, if I'm being honest, I'm glad to have that down, getting it glued in place, making sure everything stays square to where you want it. But that foam will sit there and expand, and I'll leave this weight on it overnight. But if there's any imperfections under that concrete, that foam will come up and sort of just support it. And when you step in that shower pan, you won't hear no squeaking and cracking, and it'll be pretty well glued in place. Mom, you over here vandalizing the property?
I am.
What are you vandalizing it with?
Writing some of my favorite Bible verses on the walls. Hoping that it'll stick with them while they live with us.
Looks like we got another vandal over here. What are you doing, Brantley?
I'm just writing a couple Bible verses that are my favorite. So they can kind of be under the walls.
I'm gonna stay with you forever there, won't I?
Yeah.
It's been about 30 minutes and you can already just feel this thing. The wobble, which we had it shimmed up pretty good, but if there's any wobble in it, it's gone by now. But I think we're gonna be able to live with that. That ought to do it. What this is when I plumb the house in, is my septic tank is on the opposite side of the house. So I've run my drain line all the way through, stubbed it up on the outside of the foundation. That way, if I ever need to snake that line, I can come out here on the porch, screw my cap off, and then I can snake the whole line straight all the way through the house, all the way to the septic tank. So concrete's gonna pour up to here, so it'll hit on my lid about right here, so that'll leave enough sticking up. I can screw my cap on it. That way we can always get to it and snake it if we need to. So I'll cut a short piece, we'll couple this together, and we'll have this one done. All right, we've got this project done. I'll double check myself. All we'll have exposed is just the cap, essentially. Move on to something else. Well, I've got all my steel laid down and got everything tied together, so we're ready for some concrete on Monday. Well, next on the agenda, this is where my septic tank sits. And so back earlier, we just had rain after rain after rain, and so that got saturated. It's settled, obviously. But I put this hay in here so we could get in here and actually get around the house without, you know, wading in mud up to our knees. But it's starting to decay and stink. So I'm going to pull it out, and then I've got some red dirt over on the other side of the building. We'll bring it in here, try to fill this up, and get that water going off down the hill. Change of plans. I think since it is so saturated in here, I'm going to take some of this loose stuff on the top and actually throw in the hole. That way when I throw my dirt on it, maybe it'll absorb some of that moisture and it won't just turn into soup itself. So this will decay out in time, but I got to come back later on and backfill against my porches and sow. I'll get this ready to sow anyway, so it ain't gonna hurt anything. So let's try that approach. Well, having that hay down worked pretty good. It allowed me to get over that without soaking so much of that moisture up out of the hole. But hopefully now it won't sit here and it'll run down through there. Well, next on the agenda, the list goes on and on and on. I'll tell you, you can save money by being your own general contractor, but you better have plenty of time, and you better be able to make a pretty good checklist so you can stay ahead of the curve. Because when you have subcontractors that'll come in and do some of the bigger projects, you just got to have this stuff done and out of the way so you don't hold them up. But these general contractors do this every day, which obviously they get pretty efficient at it. But I can see why they charge what they charge, because the number of items and projects to be carried out in building a house is just too numerous to count. And you can sit down and write list on top of list on top of list, but they've all got to be done to get the project done. But hey, you can build them yourself, but if you're going to build one for yourself and you've never done it before, take this into account. There's a lot to it. Well, I guess that's going to wrap this one up. I'm gonna get back in here and get back to work on my checklist, but hopefully the first of the week we'll have some concrete down. I'm gonna do just a light broom finish on the porch, but then we're gonna do a stamp border all the way around it, and then I'll have them go ahead and put the sealer on it, and then that'll allow us to move on to the stone, and you name it, we got plenty more to come. So if you watch this one, I appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you later.